but it does not look like I can record. I can record, but I cannot share it.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Maybe make me a host, and then I will give you co-hosting rights.
Yeah, let's see here. Right, this thing, because I'm trying to change his Dolana,
yeah,
and it's giving me a different option. Unless, can you do it on your side? Because when I go to your screen, it only gives me two options, and that is chat and pin Japan.
Oh,
yeah, so I can't.
You can't do more.
Yeah, I can't do more on your screen, and I don't have my options are many now.
Okay, no, that's fine. Let's not waste too much of your time.
That's fine.
Let's get on with it. I've recorded it, so I will share it with the group.
All right, it's fine because now I'll do the recording here on my side as well.
Okay.
Right. Okay, let me just fix this in, so then you and I are going to be on there.
Is DJ coming?
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7, 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
All right, welcome back to the Green Light Show. I'm your host, Okolani Wangabaloy. Welcome to the Green Light Show. Yeah, and just the right level. Is everything still okay? It is exactly 13:34, right? That's the time. Thank you very much for all those that were tuning in. Yeah, the first hour of the show, and now we're heading at the second hour of the show. And as you know, every single Wednesday, we bring you Property Wednesdays, right? Yeah, we bring you Property Wednesdays, and that is extremely important, right? Because I always say that it is absolutely important that we empower ourselves. That's the key thing. It is absolutely important that we empower ourselves. And today on the show, we've got Undumiso Unkonzo, right? So we're going to be having a conversation with him, right? And I know very well that he's into the township property investment, right? So we're going to be talking a bit more about it, and so I'm actually excited that I'm having this conversation with him today. So let's try and connect with him and start this conversation, right? Going. Good afternoon, Ndumiso.
I'm good, X. How are you?
No, I'm actually doing great. Thank you very much for for allowing to join us, right? Because I know that people are very busy. People have got their own busy schedules, right? And I thank you very much for just giving us the time to actually be with you today. But are you doing well?
No, I'm great. I'm great, and good afternoon to the listeners. I'm doing very well. Great to be here.
All right.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And I hope that this won't be the last time that we have a conversation with you. You know, I think that before we start, it is important that we form relationships, right, in order for people to actually get empowered moving forward, right?
Yeah, no, most definitely. When you need me, you just let me know, then we can have a conversation.
Great. Now, before we actually start, right, I just tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Undumiso Nkonzo?
Look, that's a complicated question because I'm a complicated individual.
Oh, okay.
To summarize it, I'm a work in progress. Ndumiso Nkonzo is a work in progress. That's the summary of it. But I'm born and bred in Mzimkhulu in KwaZulu-Natal. That's where I grew up, heading my father's cattle, like any boy from the villages. Then I came up to Gauteng for work, and I then saw this opportunity of investing in properties. So that's what I do now. I'm a trained accountant, which also goes very well with property investing, because property investors, you need to understand figures. You need to be able to work out values and calculate whether the investment makes sense or not. I'm also a perpetual student. That's why I'm saying I'm work in progress, because like you started, you talked about empowerment and learning and development. That's me. I'm into self-improvement, self-development. And yeah, I also have a platform called Ekasi Properties. That's where we train our investors and share knowledge with the people. We also invite experts in the property industry to come and talk to our community about property investing. So that's me. I'm into education, wealth creation, creating legacies, and self-improvement.
All right, no, yeah, that's wonderful. So Ukasi Properties, right? How often do you guys meet?
We meet regularly. I don't want to say every weekend. We create series of 4 Saturdays, and then we meet for 4 consecutive Saturdays. We discuss specific topics. The one that we just said was investing in the inner city, and then now we're going to have investing in the township. So although our investors are based in the township, we tend to expand the horizon, because obviously we're talking education. If you limit yourself into investing Gokasi and then you collect all the knowledge only about property investing Gokasi, then you're going to have a very limited scope. So we tend to expand the horizon of our community by inviting people to come and talk to us about different subjects. Like I'm saying, the previous one was the detail in the inner city investment.
Yeah, all right. Interesting, so that you mentioned that there are certain knowledge that has to do with the township market, right? That is completely different to the other markets, right? So how different is the township market compared to the others? Because I mean, for an ordinary person, you would think properties are fun, you know, and what are those key differences between the two, particularly for a person that would say is interested, right? It's a newbie, right? Interested in going into property, and it is also important for them to understand those differences, those dynamics, right? So what are those differences?
In its essence, property in the township and the property anywhere in the suburbs or in the inner city is the same. But there are nuances that one needs to understand for each sector that you decide to specialize on. For instance, if you are in the inner city, if we go there, if you are in the inner city, you invest in flats, everything is taken care for you by what is called the body corporate. You don't have to do much other than to look at your flat inside of your flat.
Yeah.
And everything is done for you. All the systems work for you. But once you leave that market, you go to the township, That's where it requires you to be involved. Hence, we focus on educating investors, because we do not want investors that input their money and sit back and relax and not know what's going on and employ what is called property agents. So if you're investing in the township, you need to know that you are going to have to be there yourself, because there's a lot of systems. Kokasi, it's a moving economy. It's a very busy environment, and also the industry there, the property industry there is very busy and hype, and it is everything that says township. That's the property industry. So if you invest in Kokasi, I think the major development is that you have to be there, because things change on a daily basis. Some people, if you invest in Kokasi, some of your tenants are not going to comply with the contract as strict as you want them to comply. You might have that written agreement, but it might not be complied with. And if you're sitting somewhere in New York, you're not involved of what's going on in your property, you will have it empty for the rest of the year without you realizing that actually my property is empty. So one of the main things for investors that are starting up is that you have to educate yourself, number one, but number two, you must know that you are going to have to be involved, because you must kick what is called kicking the bricks. You must be there kicking the bricks, walking the streets. Kokasi, the neighbors must know you, whereas when you go to other property sectors, the neighbors don't necessarily need to know who you are and all of that. But if you want to be a successful property investor, Kokasi, the neighbors must know you. In fact, even before you buy, I would advise people to go and speak to the neighbors, because you buy a property only to find that there's a family feud. People are fighting about the same property. So if you don't know those dynamics, then you are going to really struggle.
So in essence, what you're saying that in order for you to succeed, particularly in the township market, right, you have to be a people's person, right? Be able to engage with Ubuntu and being and Ubuntu. You know this thing that we have in Ubuntu. Ubuntu. So is it right for me to say that the key ingredient for any person, a newbie rather, to take part in the township market, you must really embrace the concept of Ubuntu?
You hit the nail right on the head.
Yes,
I will tell you two simple stories about what happened. The first one is the recent one where the municipality was changing the dustbins, and my tenants did not tell me that the municipality is changing the dustbin. I got a call from one of the neighbors to say, hey, Maki, the municipality is changing the dustbins. I went to your property and the tenants are not coming. Then I had to go and collect that dustbin and take it to the property, because the municipality had decided that they are no longer going to be taking the smaller dustbins, they want the big dustbins. So without that connection, I would not have known about what the changes that were coming up. But one serious one time I got a call from one of the neighbors to say my property is actually on fire.
Oh, okay.
One of the tenants, it's a long story, but to cut it short, one of the tenants' girlfriends had decided to light up his room because of their own fights.
Yeah.
But guess who contacted me? It was the neighbor that said, your property is on fire. And I then I rushed to the property on the road. I contacted the fire brigade. Whilst they were going there, the neighbors were busy putting off the fire. When I got there, the fire brigade was not there, but the fire had gone. Why? Because the neighbors know who I am. They know me. They've got the contact. When I go visit the property, I greet them. But bonus singabantu, and this is why I also love that market, because you're creating it for abantu as well. So singabantu, so you must talk to the neighbors. This thing of the suburbs, you're not talking to your neighbor, it does not know why you are, who you are. It will not work for you in the township. So with you must be umuntu wabantu, because even your tenants, you can't treat them as the tenants in the township, because now again you must understand that you're working with abanye abantu. You're not just working with stones or whatever that you call it.
It's true. It's true. It's true. And I also think that Ubuntu goes into the entire township market, right? Irrespective of it being the property market, you know. And I think this must be a message to our listeners that the key thing as Abantu is Ubuntu betu. To really get us away from this economic maze that we find ourselves in. And I think we have lost that concept of Ubuntu, and it is very difficult to even help Ubuntu, you know. So I think it should be a message, not only to people in South Africa, because we've got listeners across the country, you know, across the world. We're also saying that Ubuntu is an African thing. And when you look at the continent of Africa, we are still struggling a lot. At the day we get Ubuntu right, for me, we are done. The day we get that right, you know.
Yes.
And so COVID came, right? And when COVID came, it changed the game, right? It changed different industries altogether. And it's changing our industry. It gave birth to new ones, you know, and now people are working from home and all of that. And how has COVID changed the face of the township property investing?
Maybe let's link it back to what we just talked about, Ubuntu.
Yeah. And
I must say, one of the things that saved me during COVID, because there's a lot of people that lost money during COVID, but one of the things that saved my business during COVID was that very concept. We are not landlords, we are people. So when people were struggling, they contacted me to say, "Brah, look, we are struggling," and some of them is people that have stayed with us for a long time. So they called me to say they are struggling, and I said, "Okay, let's come to an arrangement." And we come to those arrangements as things get better. People were then able to then continue paying normal, and some of them we still have some arrangements that are still going. So that what you said, I'm just again re-emphasizing. We are not landlords, but we are people. Singabantu. So the market has not changed that much. Actually, for us, it's even better, because now people are coming back from the suburbs. They're coming back to Caucasus to stay at home, because now they can work from home. And as you would know, that also the prices are becoming higher of things. The general inflation of things are becoming higher. So people are trying to cut costs, and they're coming back home. So it's actually helping the industry, and as such, the property industry in the township is booming at this point in time, and the growth is there. And the Ekasi properties they're very resilient. That industry is very resilient. It's not like any other market out there. So although there's no major shift, but you can see going forward that this is the place to be if you want to be a property investor. One of the places that you can be comfortable with is investing in Caucasus.
All right, now that's wonderful. So in Kukasi properties, when you do all this empowerment and education, is there a process that you take Abantu through who are starting out? And if yes, what is that process?
Yes, we do what is called mentorship and coaching. So we differentiate that in two ways. Coaching, when you have an issue and you need someone to talk to, because you must remember, as Black people, most people, including myself, I am the first one in my family to be able to do something else other than being working. So you want to talk to someone about money, in this case about your property investing, you've got no one to speak to. Now you are free to then contact myself in Ekasi Properties to have a chat with about that specific one issue that you want to talk about. And we have saved people lots of money through just this simple method of being a bouncing board, because you find that a decision makes sense to you, but if you have a discussion with someone else, then it's not going to make sense to you. But also then there is mentorship, where we take people from not knowing anything about properties and assisting them to acquiring their first property, signing that first offer to purchase. That's another method. And then there's this one then that I spoke to you about, where we invite people that are experts in the industry.
In the field,
we also invite, I must say this, because we also invite people that are celebrities, people that have made it somewhere in their life and they are in the limelight, to come and share with us. Because like I just said now, Black people, we do not have a reference point of role models and stuff. So we need those people to come back to us and share with us about their journeys. For instance, in this case, we have had the likes of Proverb and the likes of Euphonic, who have come into the platform and talk to us about their success in general, or about their journey in success in general, but also about properties. So there's many ways that we assist our community to have an understanding of what it takes to be a property investor, but also what it takes to be a person to succeed.
All right, great. I've got so many questions for you, right? And I'm looking at the time. I'm running shy of time, right? And I'm thinking to myself that there has to be another part here of this conversation, where we start talking about how do we then empower Abantu Abamnyama, and how we can actually help them get from where they are, where they need to be, looking into the property. I mean, and we've got properties, and we don't understand that it is gold. You understand? It just needs to it depends on how we look at it, you know. So before I let you go, because I have to let you go, I'm looking at the time here. I'd like to say that you are now part of the show family, you know, and I'm welcoming you officially to say that now you've got a home where you can share your knowledge and empower as many people as we can, because through collaboration and Ubuntu, we'll be able to actually reach as many people as we can, you know. So to our listeners, this is just the intro, right? We're going to be talking more to them, and they'll be empowering you, giving you this information, right? I'm going to say this, and when you look at the wealth gap, right, between the haves and the have-not, it's big. And I know, as Africans, as Abantu Bamnyama, we are constantly crying about the land, about a lot of things. But I'm saying this, before we can think about land, let us focus on the knowledge gap.
Yes.
Can we feel that knowledge gap?
Yes.
Once we feel that knowledge gap, the rest is going to follow. And I feel that we are fighting a losing battle, because we're looking at this thing and approaching it in a wrong way. So hence, this is what we are creating in the show, this knowledge gap. And I'm very proud to also have you on board to help about to fill up this gap, so that we could have this wealth that we truly want, you know, as time goes on. And with that being said, it has been a pleasure, even though it's cut, we're running away of time, but we're gonna be having a part 2 here, right? And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much for giving us the time to join us. But this is not a goodbye, because you're gonna be back again. So so I'm saying till we meet again. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Undumiso Nkonzo rather. It has been great to have you. Any last words before you go?
Thank you, X. Thanks for the invite, and goodbye to everyone. I've got nothing else to add other than what you've just said now. If you jump into anything, you are going to have problems. We want land, but what are we going to do with it? Once we have that land, what are we going to do with it? Do we know how to develop that land commercially? Can we do agriculture on it? I don't know. But from my assessment, like you said, there's a huge knowledge gap between what needs to be done with the piece of land that we want, and what we actually know about what can be done with it. So the best thing that anyone can do from now on, if you want to involve yourself into anything, property, gym, anything, just read a bit about it. There's lots of free resources that are available about any subject that anyone would want to undertake. All you need to do is to access those resources, and then they will lead you to more and more information until you are at the level where you believe that you are now ready to start doing something about whatever that you want. But X, thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to part 2 of this discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was Ndumiso Nkonzo. Yeah, hey, I'm telling you, what a great and powerful man. So we're gonna be having a chat with him some other time. Yeah. So it is exactly 13:56. You're still tuned into the Green Light Champion hosted